Hey, running friends. Welcome to the Wrinkled Runner podcast. I'm Sherry, the Wrinkled Runner. I'm over 50 and I love to run wherever I go, but Buffalo, New York is my home. If you are looking to start to run or you're an older runner, this podcast is especially for you, so subscribe now. I love to help people get running and keep running. In today's podcast, I'm going to talk about the Wrinkled Runner website. I'll be going over the top 10 posts from 2020, and I'll explain a bit what each one is about, and there will be links to each one in the show notes. You can also look at the chapter markers or timeline to see each one. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10 was choosing a running shoe. Those of you who have been with me since this podcast started last month may have heard the podcast episode about this. You can listen to Season 1, Episode 2, or follow the link to the blog post. When I first started running about 15 years ago, I ran in whatever old sneakers I had at the time. It was actually a few years before I decided to look into quote-unquote real running shoes, and a few years after that before I ventured into a dedicated running store. This blog post talks about what to expect at a store where the staff are runners and the process of choosing a shoe that is right for you. Number 9 on the list is my book review, My Year of Running Dangerously by Tom Foreman. Tom is a CNN correspondent that decided to run a marathon with his daughter in his 50s. This book is an easy read if you haven't read a book about running before. Warming up before a run is in 8th place. I'm not great at remembering to do this, but when I do, it makes the run better. Especially since I'm an older runner, anything to get my body ready to move is a plus. I include what I do for warming up, as well as other resources for you. The show notes will also include links to the YouTube video about it and the podcast episode. The 7th in the top 10 posts from 2020 is the top 10 posts from 2019. People love lists, and I guess runners are no exception. If you like rabbit holes, you can check out the 2019 post and the 2019 links and the posts on the 2020 links and just hang out with the Wrinkled Runner all day long. Runners love gear. If you just think of the running investment as t-shirts, shorts, and sneakers before you start, you quickly learn that there's a whole lot more you can acquire. Some of it is necessary, and some of it is wish, and some of it is extra, but nice to have. Post number 6 is about the running gear I use to stay warm as I run all over the city of Buffalo in winter. If you live in a warm climate all year long, lucky you. For a lot of us, though, running in winter is a reality, and if we can't stay warm, we may just cozy up by the fire instead of going out for a run. The gear in this post gets me out the door even at 5:45 a.m. on mornings with a real feel in the single digits. Number 5 is titled, Why I Will Never Run My Easy Days Hard. It took me a long time to learn that going all out all the time is a recipe for injury and burnout. It wasn't until I went to coaching certification classes and did research on my own for the blog that the concept of purpose for different runs was drilled in for me. Our muscles and other internal parts of our bodies are not built to run hard and fast all the time, and to do so is detrimental to gaining running fitness and speed. Read the post if you are tempted to make each run a competition with your last one. I love to encourage new runners and older runners, and this post is my recommendation for how to reach the first running goal, which is start to run. You've heard it here on the podcast. I recommend the RRCA Start to Run program, which is a run-walk plan that gets you to 30 minutes of constant running. Even more experienced runners use walk breaks in their running, and the number 4 post is all about the run-walk concept. If you want to start to run, check out that post. If you are older and you're finding it harder to keep up with where you were, you can also stay in the game by incorporating walking into your runs. Number 3 is my online resources for older runners. It can be difficult to find information for us, so I put together a few resources that I have found helpful. Hair care for runners is number 2. This surprised me, but apparently a lot of runners have the same issues that I do. I have very thin hair, and it gets tied in knots when I run. So I had to figure out some ways to take care of it so it wasn't so damaged all the time. I also did a YouTube video that I'll link to, but now when I see the video, it is so embarrassing because I didn't really do anything with my hair the day I filmed it. I don't know why, but it's a terrible example of taking care of my hair. So if you can turn the video off and just listen to it over there, then I would feel a lot better about that. Number one is the tutorial I updated about the Apple Intervals app. This app is by far what gets people to the website and the YouTube channel. It's an app to be used for interval training, and you're able to set up pretty complicated intervals with heart rate or pacing alerts if you need them as well. If you haven't done intervals before, you can listen to the podcast from a few weeks ago about different running workouts. This app is unfortunately only available for the iPhone or Apple Watch, but there are other apps for different types of phones and fitness watches as well that you can check out. Okay, so there it is. Quick podcast episode today, but those were the most popular posts on the site from that very strange year that was 2020. Head over to the Wrinkled Runner website and take a look around. If you're new to running, click on the Start Here tab that's at the top, and I list some posts that can help you get started with running. In the show notes, there will be a link to my contact page, so you can sign up for the monthly Wrinkled Runner newsletter and links to the YouTube channel. In next week's podcast, I'll be talking about the top YouTube channel videos from last year, so don't miss it. Episodes from the current season come out every Monday morning. Go ahead and listen to them on the run. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know another runner who could benefit from today's topic, go ahead and share it. Do you have any running questions? You can ask me. Email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com, and if I can't answer your question, I will do the research to find the answer and share it with you. The questions I get from listeners like you help me develop episodes, so please don't be shy. You can sign up for my once-a-month newsletter using the link provided so that you can have all the Wrinkled Runner resources from the past month all in one place. I also have opened up my virtual coaching in addition to coaching one-on-one with those in the Buffalo, New York area. So head to my coaching page on the Wrinkled Runner website, which I will, of course, link to, and check out how we may be able to work together. Until next Monday, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the run.